it had never happened like this. If the Argo hadn't opened its sails and flown to Colchis through the clashing rocks. If the pines were still standing in the glens of Mount Pelion, not cut and turned to oars for the Argonauts. If Peleus the king hadn't sent those heroes off to do his bidding, to cross the sea and steal the golden fleece, it would all be different, not as it is. My dear mistress Medea would never have met their leader Jason, never fallen for him, head over heels, never left a life behind to sail away with him, not tricked Peleus' daughters into killing their own father, and not fled here at last, Corinth, far from family and home. In the beginning, everything was fine. Though a foreigner like me, Medea was welcomed with her husband and children, was happy in her new life, obedient to Jason in everything he said and did. In marriage, that's the safest way, I think, to follow your husband and accept his rules. But now this house is full of hate. Its timbers are rotten with it. Jason's gone from her and the children, leaving them for a royal bed. He's marrying this young thing, the princess, daughter of Creon, the Corinthian king. My poor Medea, dishonored. She reminds him of his oaths, invokes the gods of justice and truth to witness what he's done. After all she's done for him, to no avail. Since she heard of his deceit, she's refused all food and comfort. She stays in her room, cries the days away. Won't lift her head for anyone. Won't raise her eyes from the ground. Unmoved by words, by anything around her. She's as deaf as a stone or a wave on the sea. Sometimes she turns and looks away, cries out for her father, her country, her home, all abandoned and betrayed for a man who now abandons her, betrays her honor and her love. She's learned the hard way what it is to be an exile, to have given up everything. She loathes to have her children near, can't bear to look at them. I fear some plan is already forming in her mind. She has a temper on her that is vile and violent, and she will never rest. I know her well enough to be sure. I fear she will creep into the palace, stand by that double bed, and drive a deep blade into each of them. Oh, she's deadly, let me tell you. And none who spark her rage. will walk away. But look, here they are now, her boys, hot from their games. They don't understand their mother's grief. Why should they? Their minds are still too young for pain.
Old nurse, what are you doing? Standing up here, talking to yourself? Why aren't you with the mistress?
Old teacher, I feel Medea's troubles as my own, and come out here to share them with the earth and air.
So, she's still crying?
Still crying? I envy your innocence. This is only the start. Her grief has just begun.
The poor, ignorant woman. If a servant may speak so of a lady, she doesn't know the news.
What news, old man? Don't keep it to yourself.
Nothing. I shouldn't have said.
Please, please, I beg you, as a fellow servant, I can keep a secret if I must.
Well, I was down by the sacred springs at Parini, where the old men play at draughts, and I happened to hear something about King Creon, banishing these children and the mother from Corinth. I don't know if it's true. I hope not.
Jason would never let that happen. His quarrel is with Medea, not with them.
Old love's a drought. When new ones come along, Jason's love no longer lives in.
We are done for then. We were weathering a squall, and now it turns to storm.
You must tell nothing to your mistress. This is not the time.
Sweet children, do you hear what kind of man your father is? He is my master, so I cannot curse him. But such disloyalty to those he ought to love. He is guilty.
What mortal man is not guilty? A new woman in the bed leaves no room for anyone else. He has forgotten everything, including his voice.
Go into the house, children. Everything will be fine. And you, keep them as far away from their mother as you can. She's distraught. You've seen the way she looks at them, like a wild animal. I'm afraid she might do something. She will not rest until she has brought this anger down on the head of an enemy. And I pray it is an enemy she turns on, and not those she loves.
Oh gods! I am so wretched, so miserable! Please, let me die!
Just as I said, children, your mother's heart's upset. She's stirring the pot of her darkest temper. Go into the house, and don't go near her. Don't let her see you. She's fierce, my dears, fierce with hate. Quick, inside. The storm is upon us. There is greater passion to come. Lightning flashes to burst those black clouds of grief and bring down hellish weather. What will she do, this proud, unbiddable woman, under the sting of this lash?
Do I not suffer? Have I not been wronged? Can I not weep? Down, children of a down mother, and have you die with your father and his whole house falls around you all.
Oh gods, what part have they in their father's guilt? Why do you hate them? Poor children, I'm so frightened you may come to harm. Royal minds are different to ours and dangerous. Being used to giving orders rather than taking them, they can become easily enraged and that rage is slow to cool. Ordinary life is much better, where everyone is equal. I hope to grow old just as I am, lowly, unremarkable, and safe.
We have heard the cry of the unhappy woman of Colchis. Tell us, nurse, is she still no calmer? Even through the double doors of the inner room, we could hear her keening. It hurts our heart to hear such sounds of sorrow from within a house of friends.
This house is dead. It is no longer a home. The husband rolls in a royal bed, while the wife, my mistress, stays in her room, far beyond the soothing words of any friend, wasting her life away.
Oh, let a flash of lightning pierce this skull! What use is there in living? Give me the freedom of death, so I can leave behind this life I hate. Did you hear that, Zeus? Sun and earth! Did you hear that creature's dreadful cry? You are rash, woman! It is just as wrong for you to desire the bed of death as it is for Jason to thrash in his bed of desire. Why hurry death? The marriage is over. Let it rest. Almighty gods, look down on my suffering and these broken marriage bonds, the oaths that bound me to my husband, now all forgotten. I will see him and his bright young bride ground down to nothing, and the whole house with them. Was it for this I fled my native country, father, leaving you in my wake, fishing up pieces of my broken brother?
You hear? She calls on the gods, the guardians of all promises made by man. Such anger is not easily appeased.
We wish you would come out and listen to us, meet us face to face.
She might feel her fury lessen amongst friends, fetch her from the house nurse, and tell her we support her.
But be quick, for she hurts those inside. Her passion grows so strong, the air around her burns.
I'll try, of course, but I doubt I'll persuade her. When any of us approach, you can see her hackles rise, like a lioness when you get between her and her cubs. If only we could charm her with music. Those old composers were such fools. They wrote melodies only for the happy times. None of them thought to make music for real life. What is the point of music and song at a feast? People are happy when they're full. We need a tune for when there is no food there to eat.
We hear her weeping, her litany of accusations against her husband, the betrayer of her bed. She calls again to the gods who brought her here to Greece, over the dark salt water of the Black Sea, to the locks and keys of the Hellespont. A threshold few may cross. Women of Corinth, I have come out here to show you who I am. I will not be judged by anyone as proud I know many who are vain, it's true, indoors or out. But there are others that hide themselves away, and then people say they emulate the gods. Whether you go out in public or retire in private, you get a reputation either way. There is no justice in the eyes of men. They judge by what they see, not what they know. It is hardest for foreigners like me to be accepted. Always working, always trying to fit in. So I have no time for those who think themselves above the rules or better than the others. This blow, when it came from nowhere, knocking me down, crushing my faith in all that's good and kind. I am lost and foundering. The joy has gone from my life, and I see no reason now to carry on. My husband, my companion, the man I thought I knew so well, in whom I'd invested everything, has revealed himself to be the most contemptible of men. Of all living, sentient creatures, women are the most unfortunate. We must save and save to raise a dowry. Then the man that agrees to marry us becomes master of our bodies, a second burden greater than the first. Loss and insult, that is all we have. Everything hangs on his character. Is the master good or bad? We can refuse him nothing, but if we divorced, we are seen as somehow soiled, as damaged goods. Innocent and strangers enter our husbands' houses with all these new laws and customs to deal with. We need to use our intuition to teach us how best to please our man. If we do well in all our duties, and don't let him ever think he's trapped in the marriage, everything's fine. If not, it's death in life. When a man's bored with what he has at home, he goes elsewhere, finds someone else to amuse him. The woman must wait, for she's allowed to look at one face only, his. Men tell us that we are lucky to live safe at home while they take up their spears and go to war. Well, that's a lie! I'd sooner stand behind a shield 3 times in battle than give birth once. But yours is a different story. This is your city. Your fathers are here. You have the company of friends, the pleasures of life. I am alone in Corinth, an outsider in a strange city far from my family. My only company, a husband who took me as plunder from some foreign campaign and now dishonors me! No mother, no brother, no kin to turn to shelter me from shame. So, I shall ask this one favor from you. If I can think of any way, any plan to make my husband pay for all this hurt, will you keep my secret? A woman is too timid, too weak, they say, for war, would faint at the sight of battle steel. But when she's injured in love, when her bed has been defiled, she'll have your blood!
We promise! You have every right to punish your husband, Medea, and every reason to grieve. But here is Creon, the king. Here perhaps with some proclamation.
So, Medea, sour-faced, glowering with rage against your husband. Hear this! I order you now to leave this land and go into exile with immediate effect. And take those children of yours with you. I am the law and execute it and will stand until I've seen you off Corinthian soil.
No! This is the end of everything. Fleets of enemies sail against me. I see only rocks and no safe haven. After so much abuse, one question, Creon. Why are you sending me away?
Honestly, to put it bluntly, I'm afraid of you. Afraid that you will do some harm to my daughter. I have many reasons, and they all add up. You're a clever woman. It is known that you're skilled in the evil arts. You're wounded, smarting at the loss of your husband from your bed. And on top of that, I hear that you've been making threats against the bride, her father, and the man she's to marry. I will let nothing happen, and so will guard against it. It is better to harden my heart against you now than have you break it later.
My reputation yet again. It goes before me like a curse. My father should have never allowed me an education, never raised me to be intelligent. Those who are out of the ordinary attract jealousy and bitterness. If you try to bring new wisdom to fools, the fools are furious. If your mind matches the minds of the city's intellectuals, then they are threatened.
But you, Creon, you're afraid. Why is that? What damage can I do? I am no insurrectionist, no insurgent against the state. You've done nothing to me.
Only given your daughter's hand away in marriage. It's my husband I hate.
You've acted with propriety and good sense within the law, and I don't resent your happiness. Make the marriage. I wish all of you good luck. But let me stay. Although I have been wronged, I will keep my peace. I yield to you as king. You have won, and I have lost.
Conciliatory words. Indeed. But still I dread to think what evil cooks within your heart. The softness of your words makes me trust them even less. You see, a hot-tempered woman, or man as a matter of fact, is easier to stand against than a clever one that keeps her own counsel. No! I am decided. No more delay and no more speeches. You're hereby banished and must leave now.
I beg you, in the name of your promised daughter.
Your words are wasted, Medea. You will never win me over.
You will banish me without listening to my pleas.
But of course you mean nothing to me.
My country, how much I miss you now.
After my children, my country is my greatest love.
And what a curse love is to mortals.
That just depends on the circumstances, woman.
Oh, Zeus, do not forget who causes this suffering.
Just go, foolish woman, and with you go my troubles.
Troubles, are having great supply.
Do not go now. I have my soldiers throw you out. Move!
No! Creon, no! I beg you!
You seem hell-bent on obstruction.
I accept my exile. I'm not asking a reprieve from that.
Why the argument then? Why do you still cling to my feet?
One day. That's all I ask. Let me stay for one more day. I need to think clearly where to go, how to provide for my children. Just a father seems to have little interest. Take pity on them, please. You have kindness in you. You're a parent too. I can bear exile, but I cannot bear to see them suffer. Creon!
It is not in my nature to be a tyrant. I have been merciful before, it's true, and I have paid the price. I know even now that I might be making a mistake, but you shall have your request. And I warn you, if tomorrow's sun sees you and your children stand within these lands, you will die! I give you my word. One more day if you must. One more is surely not enough to bring us harm.
Unhappy woman, where will you turn in this world of troubles?
What protector will you find? What refuge?
What house, what country will save you from calamity?
A god has abandoned you, Medea, in an open boat, on a sea that has no shore.
Evil on every side. Who can deny it? But things are not quite as you describe. There are still dangers for this bride and groom and for the happy father. Do you think I would have fought at his knees, without some hope of gain, without a scheme? I wouldn't have spoken to him, wouldn't have touched him. But he has stumbled deep in folly now. He had the chance to banish me and ruin everything. Instead, he's given me this whole long, beautiful day and time to turn all three enemies, the father, the daughter, and my husband, into corpse meat. So many paths of death for them, so many choices. I can't decide which one to take. Shall I turn the bridal house to cinders? Stick them all like suckling pigs! Slink in quietly and slice them in their beds. But that's the thing. If I'm caught halfway through the plan, going in, I'll be killed and they'll be doing the gloating. The best road is the most direct, a way in which we are most skilled. I'll take them by poison! So be it. Now, suppose it's done. What city will have me?
What host will offer me asylum and a safe house? No one at the moment, and so I'll wait. If some place of refuge suddenly appears, then I can proceed by stealth. If time or circumstance force me into the open, I will use the sword, though I'm sure to die for it, and drive it into them with my own brave hand. By the goddess Hecate, whom I worship above all, none of them will live to laugh at me. I'll turn the marriage and this family alliance airless and blacken the day they chose to banish me. Come, Medea, use all your dark skills and do your worst! You know what you must do.
The laws of nature and of humans, all reversed. Now we see men dissemble, twist their words, and break their holy vows. So it must follow soon that women will have rights, that women, not men, are the ones we hold in high repute. No more gossip and rumor to keep us in check. The natural order has turned around. The old songs will have to change. History is made by women, just as much as men. We'd sing of how you sailed to this land, Medea, from your father's house, love-driven, through the twin rocks of the eastern sea. You were a stranger, and you're now estranged again, losing your husband's love, your husband's bed, your home, and now the right to stay. Promises and oaths mean nothing here, are nothing more than smoke. There is no honor now in all of Greece, and in dishonor, little shame. You have no family home, no shelter, and the young princess holds your husband in thrall, and in your household sway.
This is not the first time I've seen this savage temper. But I hope it will be the last. You are impossible to deal with. You could have stayed here, kept your home, if you had only agreed to the arrangements of your superiors. A small price to pay, I would have thought. But no. You have been exiled for your foolish talk, and it's your own fault. You can call me what you like, and I don't mind. But to rant against the king? You're lucky it's just exile. You're lucky to be alive. I tried to calm him, as I wanted you to stay. But you wouldn't hold your tongue, would you? Your slander and curses have seen you banished. However, in spite of this, I will not fail my loved ones. I come here, woman, still thinking about your interests. You and the children will not go into exile penniless or in need of anything. Banishment brings many hardships, I imagine. I want you to know that whatever hatred you feel for me, I could never bear you any malice.
There are no names for something
as foul and spineless as you! A man who is no man at all! How dare you even come to us here, where you are most despised? Is this your idea of courage or heroism, to wrong your family and then visit them? Loathsome, shameless, evil man! But part of me is glad you're here. It will ease my heart a little to spare you with my words and see you squirm. Let's start at the beginning. I saved your life, as every Greek on the Argo will confirm. I helped you harness the fire-breathing bulls, plow the field of death, sow the dragon's teeth. I killed the sleepless serpent guardian of the golden fleece, and led you to safety. I abandoned my father and my home, and went with you to Yorkers, showing more love than sense. I did this all for you, and what in return? You dropped me for some girl? Even though we have children, you forget me. I could almost understand all this loss, if you were childless. But we have 2 beautiful sons. What do you believe in? You lie as a matter of course. All these promises and oaths are broken wholesale. Do you think the old gods no longer rule, and you can set up new statutes to match your moral turpitude? You can't even keep your word to me, your simple word, to love and cherish. Look at this hand you took in your hand, these knees you clung to, all empty gestures, cheap, meaningless lies. You are a husk of a man, and you have cheated me of my life. Where can I go now? Home to my father? I betrayed him and my country by sailing up with you! This is how things stand. I made enemies of those I loved for you! Harm those I had no need to harm for you! In return, you made me happy, at least in the eyes of many Greek women. Oh, what a lucky girl to have such a good and faithful husband! A husband who stands watching as I'm sent into exile with my children, with no allies and no place to go! Is this your wedding gift to yourself? To leave the woman who saved you and the sons that you bore, banished as beggars?
Let us get this straight. You widely overstate your role in all this. It was Aphrodite who saved the Argo. Aphrodite alone. You're clever enough, surely, to see that the rest was all Eros and his arrows. Not to put too fine a point on it, you were driven by desire. You helped me, of course you did. And I'm grateful that you gained more than you gave. You are with Greeks now, not gypsies. In a land of culture and justice, not some tribal swamp. You are known throughout Greece for that brain of yours. Would you be famous back where you came from, on the very edge of the world? I don't think so. We built our lives on accolades. And Greece, I have to say, is the very cradle of fame. As to my marriage, my royal marriage, I will show you just how wise and prudent I have been, and what a great friend I am to you and the children. Now hold your tongue! And listen. When I moved here from Iolkos, dragging bad luck behind me, what better good fortune could I find than marriage to the daughter of a king? And I, an exile. I know you think I'm tired of you and lust for a younger flesh. That I want to rival others who have many children. Not true. I have enough children. My one motive was to ensure security and prosperity. I don't want to end up as some vagrant man across the street to avoid. I want to raise the children in a manner befitting my position. Perhaps there might be other children later on. Royal brothers for our sons. And so our bloodlines join. And with that, security for all. You don't need more children, surely, but royal sons. Now, that's useful. And they'd be great companions for the ones we already have. Is that such a bad ambition? If it weren't for this sexual jealousy, you'd agree. You, women, are all the same. If you're happy in bed, then you're happy everywhere. But if that goes wrong, then the world might as well be over and you turn on those closest to you. If we could produce children some other way, without the need of women, then, believe me, all human misery would end.
An eloquent brute is still a brute! Someone who defends your evil plausibly deserves the greatest punishment. And that goes for you! You cannot dazzle me with gilded words and fancy rhetoric, nor can 1,000 pretty phrases cover up your crime. Your arrogance is matched only by your stupidity. If I pull one thread, the whole thing unravels. If this marriage is so sensible, you could have been honest, talked it through with me first, won me over. But no, you kept your grubby secret to yourself. Have you ever told the truth?
I can just imagine what a great support you'd have been if I'd mentioned the marriage. Look at you! You can barely control your bestial rage as it is.
That wasn't really what stopped you from speaking, was it? I think it was simply this. You're getting old. Your deeds of heroism are barely remembered. And you're still saddled with a foreigner for a wife.
Believe me, this is not about another woman. This royal marriage, as I've said before, was for you and the children. The boys would have princes for brothers, and everyone would be safe.
What perilous safety! I pray I never reach it, or find this prosperity that would empty my heart.
Pray for something wiser. Pray instead for a less pessimistic view of life. Not to find pain in what is pleasant, not to feel unlucky when you're not.
Not unlucky! I go friendless into exile while you sit in the royal palace. You tell me I'm fortunate?
You brought this on yourself, you have no one else to blame.
What did I do? Did I take a wife and abandon you?
You cursed the king in the royal house!
Yes, and I will be a curse to your house too!
This is pointless. If I can help you with some money towards your, for the future, For the children and yourself, just say, I'm prepared to be generous, and I'm happy to give you letters to bring to friends abroad. We'll take you in, I'm sure. Look, this is a good offer. Why don't you just swallow your pride and your anger and accept it?
I need no friends of yours to take me in, and I'll have nothing to do with your money either. Is this for compensation, or just to shut me up? The gifts of the dawn are poison.
Well, let the gods be my witness. I have done everything I can. I've offered to help you and the children, but my kindness is thrown back in my face. Such obstinacy will only make things worse for you.
Go! Get out of my sight! I can tell you're keen to get back to the palace, and your hot little playmate. She'll be waiting in bed, I imagine, dying for it. Go! Play the bridegroom while you can! Because I tell you this, your honeymoon will be brief and bitter as gall.
When it comes over us too strongly, desire destroys our sense and wrecks our reputation. But if she comes in gently, no one brings such happiness as Aphrodite. We beg you, goddess, do not bend your golden bow and lose your arrows against us. They never miss, we know, and they are tipped with lust. Aphrodite will drive us, ravenous, from chamber to chamber, in flaming passions of the head and heart, leaving us open, unconcealed. Every bed is turned into a battlefield. Dear country, dear home, may we never be driven away from you. We'd rather bring our life to an end than be banished to see all corners of the world, but never see our native land again. No city to accept you, no friend to remember your past kindnesses and take you in.
Medea? 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 Medea, blessings. I know no better greeting for a friend.
And blessings to you as well, Aegeus, son of wise Pandem. What brings the king of Athens here, to Corinth?
Oh, I've been to see the ancient oracle of Apollo.
To Delphi, the very center of the world. What took you there?
I came to ask for strength. To father children.
You've lived so long a life, never had a child.
I have no heir. Some god blocks me.
But you have a wife.
Yes, I have a wife.
What did Apollo say?
Some complicated riddle.
May I hear it?
Of course. Your cleverness may crack its code.
Then tell me.
I was told.
Do not untie the wineskin's neck
Till when? Till you go where?
Until you return to your native land.
Athens. So what brings your king to Corinth?
I must visit Pythias, king of treason.
Son of Pelops, a most pious man, they say.
Yes, I will tell him the words of the oracle.
He is wise and knows about these things.
He's an old friend and a close supporter.
Well, I wish you luck. I hope you get what you want.
But Medea, why the tears? What's troubling you?
Aegeus! My husband is the worst of men.
What do you mean?
Jason wrongs me. I have done no wrong to him.
Why? What's happened?
He has taken another woman to be his wife and mistress of his house.
What? He would do something that wicked.
He has. I was once loved, but now I'm cast aside.
Well, was it love or simple lust? Did he tire of you?
Great lust! Lust for something we cannot give him.
Forget him then, as he is clearly worthless.
His lust is royal. He will marry the king's daughter.
Tell me everything. Which king?
Creon, king of Corinth.
I see. Now I understand your distress.
And that's not everything. I am banished.
Worse and worse. By whom?
The king. Again.
And Jason stands back and lets this happen. Shameful!
He stands and blusters at their exile, but he seems to be coming to terms with it. Aegeus, I beg you, pity me. Take pity on a suffering friend turned out into the cold. Please, take me, receive me into your country, into your home. And in return, this longing of yours for children, trust me, it will be relieved. The gods will give you the son you desire. You'll end your life fulfilled. Fate has smiled on you today, bringing us together like this. I'll cure you of your childlessness, believe me. I have many remedies for that.
You warm my heart, Medea. I have many reasons to grant you this favor, to appease the gods for one, but mostly the promise of a son. That is not something I can do alone. It is settled. If you reach Athens, I will try and act as your protector, but I make this one condition. You must journey alone. I cannot help you in your flight from Corinth. Once you're in my house, you'll be safe. I'll give you up to no one. But I cannot intervene here amongst allies and offend my hosts.
Of course, if you could give me a word on this, I will have all I wish.
What do you mean? Don't you trust me?
You, I trust. But the house of Peleus, on the other hand, is hostile, and that's of Creon. If you're bound by an oath, I know you won't hand me over to my enemies. Words are one thing, but words are open to manipulation, diplomacy. An oath sworn by the gods is inviolable. I am weak. I need that strength against the royal power.
You're shrewd, Medea, and I'm happy to agree. It serves me, too, for my protection, and as a good excuse to give your enemies to argue your case. Name the gods I must swear by.
Swear by the soil of the earth, by Helios, my grandfather, god of the sun, then by the whole pantheon.
You must tell me what it is I swear to do or not to do.
That you will never expel me from Athens, and never deliver me to my enemies, as long as you may live.
I swear, by the earth, by the holy light of Helios, and by all the gods, that I will do as you say.
Perfect. And if you don't abide by this oath, what punishment?
May I be damned. The fate of all those who scorn the gods.
Go in happiness and peace. All is now well. I shall come to your city as soon as I can. Once I've finished here. I have a few things left to do. Oh, Zeus! Justice of Zeus! Light of the sun!
I sense victory. I have my enemies in my sight. My sails are set, and the winds are with me. Just when everything seemed hopeless, storm-tossed, this man appears and offers me safe harbor. I will lash fast through its mooring place when I'm done with Corinth. And now, I'll tell you my plan, which will give you little pleasure. I'll send a servant to Jason to request a visit. When he arrives, I'll ply him with soft words.
I've changed my mind,
I'll say.
You were right. It was quite the best decision to let us go and make a royal marriage. Such wisdom, and all in our interests. One favor only. Let the children stay.
Not that I would leave them here to this rabble. No. They will be my messenger of death. I'll send them to the princess bearing gifts. A finely woven gown of silk. But in this finery, I'll smear the fatal oil. So when she puts it on, she'll put on poison. She will die in agony, as will anyone who touches her. That much is easy. But what comes next, I can hardly bear to say. I shall kill the children, my children. No one will ever take them from me. Then, once the house of Jason lies in ruin, I'll escape from Corinth, fleeing the murder of my own dear sons, that most unutterable of crimes. I will not endure the scorn of enemies, so let it begin. I have nothing left to lose. I should have never fled my father's house, falling for the words of the Greek. But with the help of the gods, he will pay such a price. He will never see the sons he had by me again, nor will he see children from his new bride. He'll just see her writhing and dying from my poisons. Let no man say of Medea that she is mild as milk. I am not like other women. I am of some other kind. I love my own and will destroy all those who stand against me. I was born for a life of the greatest glory.
You've made us listen, made us party to your plan. You must not do this dreadful thing.
There is no other way. I forgive you, though, for your words. This is my suffering, not yours.
But woman, how can you bear to kill your own children?
It is the way to hurt him most.
And bring you the deepest misery.
Be that as it may. You, go inside and fetch Jason. I choose you because I trust you. Tell him nothing of my plans. Be loyal to me as your mistress and as a fellow woman.
when they look up at you,
Their mother, with her arm raised.
Will you be butcher enough to spray the walls with blood?
I have come as you asked. Despite your hatred, I'm still here. What do you want from me now?
Jason, I want to beg your forgiveness for what I said before. You know my wild temper. You put up with it during our many happy years of love. I've thought this through, and think I've been a fool. Obstinate, stupid woman, I've told myself. Why do you rant and rave in the face of sound advice? Why make yourself an enemy to the king and to your husband, who only thinks of what's best for us? Marrying the princess, so our children can have brothers. I say to myself, can you never control your rage? What's the matter with you? The gods have been so kind and have provided so well for everything you need. Do you not have the children? Have you forgotten you're an exile here and friends are thin on the ground? These are my thoughts. I realize now I was being foolish and angry for no reason. So now I agree with everything you propose. You've made a royal alliance on our behalf, and instead of supporting you, planning the big day, standing by the marriage bed, tending to your young bride, I've been selfish and stupid and weak. But I am a woman. I'm not saying we're wicked by nature. We are what we are. Not wicked, perhaps, but foolish. But you shouldn't lower yourself and match my foolishness with your own. That's in the past, though. I admit that I was wrong. I am wiser now and will behave more prudently. Children, children, come outside. Say hello to your father. Come and talk to him. Let's leave all the crosswords behind. We are friends now, and no one's angry anymore. Take his hand in yours. The pain of it. The pain of what I know the future holds and I must hide. Children, will you stretch out your little arms like this forever? It breaks my heart. Oh, what a fool I am to weep so easily. Here am I, finally making up with your father, and all I do is cry.
This is much better, woman. I approve of this. I don't blame you for your earlier mood. It's only natural for a woman to get angry when her husband brings another marriage into the house. But now you understand the logic of it, finally, and to recognize the brilliance of the plan. I'm impressed by your maturity. And you, my sons. Your father has given much thought to your future, and I'm happy to say that, with the gods' help, arrangements are in place to provide for you. Someday, you and your new brothers will be the top men of Corinth. But first, You must grow up, big and strong. Leave all the rest to your father and the kindly gods. I can't wait to see you tall and proud in your manhood, ready to trample my enemies. What now, woman? More tears? Why are you crying instead of being pleased at what I say?
It's nothing. It's because of the children.
But why, for heaven's sake, are you upset about the children?
I am a woman, Jason. When you talked of them as men, it made me wonder if they get that far. And sad to think of it. They are so little, and life is so hard.
I've taken care of everything. Don't you worry.
If you say so. It's not that I distrust your words. It's just that we women are soft by nature and quick to tears. But you came so we could talk. I've said some of what I meant to say, but here's the rest.
Creon has resolved to exile me from Corinth.
And understand, it's for the best. I have no wish to stand in the way of him, or you, or those who think I hate the royal family.
So, I will go into exile.
But the children deserve a better life than mine. Let them stay and be raised here in your house. That's all I ask. For their sake, make this plea to Creon.
I'm not sure I will persuade him, but I'll try.
Ask
the princess to plead the case, that they not be sent away.
Very well. I think I can do that. I'm sure she can win him over.
If she's a woman, like all other women. But let me help. I'll send her presents, the most beautiful things, and the boys can deliver them.
Nurse, quickly, fetch the silk dress. She will have not just one happiness, but many. A hero for a husband, and also these. Pass down from Helios, my grandfather, to me. These treasures of the sun.
Boys, take these presents and give them to the princess, into her royal hands. These are gifts that will fit her perfectly.
Why are you giving away your finest things? Do you think the royal palace is short of silk and gold? Don't just hand over heirlooms as rich as these. Keep them for yourself. If I know my bride, she'll value my wishes over any of your gifts, however pretty. Trust me on this.
Shh. I won't hear another word. Even the gods are swayed by tributes, and gold outweighs 10,000 words.
The day is hers, and hers is the brightest star. She's young and royal, and shortly to be heaven blessed.
And anyway, to save my sons from exile, I'd barter with my soul, not just a gown of gold.
Now, children, take these presents to the palace and carry them carefully to the princess, the happy bride, my mistress now, and ask her. Beg her not to have you sent away. Give her the gifts and make sure she takes them in her own hands. Go quickly now and come back soon.
speak these words.
And you, Jason, married into the house of kings, or so you think. You bring destruction to your children and agony to your bride. How wrong you were about your destiny. How far you have wandered from the hero's path. Reduced to this, to be the groom of death, losing everything but your life. And lastly, you, Medea, a mother still, so jealous of your marriage bed, you'd kill your children. All this because of another woman? Your husband's treachery? His desertion too? You do all this? You kill the sons you carried in your womb?
My lady. My lady. My lady. The children have been reprieved from exile. All is well. The princess took your gifts, delighted into her own hands. They have no enemies to help. What's wrong? Is that not good news?
Cruel news.
These words, out of tune.
Cruel.
Have I said something wrong?
You.
I thought you would be pleased.
You have said what you have said. It's not you I blame.
Then why are you staring at the ground? Why are you weeping?
Old man, I have every reason. The gods and my own madness have led us all to this.
Take heart, my lady. In time, your sons will come to bring you home.
I will bring home many before then. Oh, gods!
We mortals must learn to bear misfortune.
I will try. Now, go inside and see to the boys, just as you would normally. Children, children, you have a city now, and a home, leaving me to grieve. You will stay here forever. I am going somewhere else, into exile, and will never see you growing up. Watch your weddings, meet your wives. Oh, what misery I brought on myself! It was all for nothing. The pains of labor, years of rearing, the worries and fears of being a mother. I had such hopes for you, such hopes that you would care for me when I grew old, and when I died, dress me for burial with your own dear hand. These dreams were sweet, but have come to nothing. Without you, I live up my days in pain and grief. And you will never again look on your mother with those kind and loving eyes. You will have gone from me. Dear sons, why do you stare at me like that? Why do you smile these last smiles? What am I going to do? My heart gives way when I see their shining faces. My poor babies! I can't do it! Forget all the schemes! I'll take them away with me. Away from here. Why should I have them just to punish him when I would suffer twice as much? I won't do it. I won't think of it again.
Wait. What is going on? Could I leave here without seeing my enemies punished? Leave Corinth a laughingstock? I must steel myself and do it. What a coward I am to let such softness dull my blade. Children, into the house. Anyone without a stomach for sacrifice, keep well away. My hand will not weaken now. I take one road of sorrow and send my children on a sadder one. I must say goodbye. Give me your hand to kiss, dear son. Yours too. My beautiful children, my noble, beautiful children. May you both be peaceful where you go. Your father has taken away all chance of happiness here. Oh, what it means to hold you. Your skin is so soft. These little kisses, your sweet, milky breath. My babies. Go. Go now. Go! I cannot even see you through my pain. And there is more pain yet to come. And horror, boundless horror. I understand what I'm about to do. The rage in my heart is stronger than my reason. There, that is it. Passion is the root of all our sin and all our suffering.
Men and women who have never brought up children are by nature blessed. They never suffer those extremes. Look at the parents, worn down by love and worry. Are their little ones sick? Are
Trojan soldier struggles for breath. My goodness, he's choking on this news.
Medea, what you've done is unspeakable, beyond all human laws. You must leave this place, by any means you choose, but you must leave now.
Why? What's happened?
She's dead, the princess, and her father Creon too, both dead. By your poison!
Ah, excellent news. From this day, I'll count you as friend and benefactor.
What? You are beyond madness, beyond decency, to commit murder on the royal house and then celebrate?
I have many reasons for that. But why should I explain to you? We come from different worlds. Calm down. Take your time. Don't spare the details. I'd like to know just how they died. The worse it was, the more I want to hear.
As your two little boys came to us, hand in hand with their father, there was a great joy among the servants. We'd all felt sorry for the way you'd been treated. But now the word was out that you and Jason had made your peace. So we were happy to welcome the boys, blessing their hands and heads with kisses as they made their way through to the royal chambers. I was so happy that I followed them there. The mistress had eyes only for Jason. As she saw the boys, she veiled her lovely face and turned away, upset that they were there. Your husband soothed her sulky mood and said, "Don't be cross with them. They're only children. Come, look up, my dear. These boys are your family now, too. Accept these gifts with royal grace and ask your father to release them from this exile for the future of our happiness and for my sake." Seeing the gifts, she was won over and agreed to all that Jason asked. The boys and their father had scarcely left the room before she took the silken gown and put it on. Rising, she stepped elegantly up and down the room in her bare feet, delighted with her gifts. Every now and then, she'd stop, twisting round to admire the dress and how it fell in perfect folds to her ankles. So young and fine and strong. Then suddenly, all this beauty changed to horror. Her color changed, her legs began to shake, and she staggered backwards. A servant woman, thinking that the frenzy of Dionysus or some lesser god possessed her mistress, raised a shout in praise until she saw the mouth of the princess bubbling with the white froth, her eyes rolling back in her head, her body draining of blood. The servant woman's call turned to a scream, and the others scattered. Some that fetched the father, others the husband. The whole palace rang with running feet. All this took place in a few moments, the time it would take to cover 200 yards. And she just sat there, eyes closed, in a speechless trance. Then woke suddenly to the noise and stench of burning, to the sound of her own shrieking, till finally, exhausted by this agony, she fell to the floor, unrecognizable to anyone but her father. Her eyes and face were gone. Blood and flames dropped, spitting from the places where they'd been. The poisoned flesh dripped off her like resin from a pine torch. It was a sight too gruesome to bear, and we had seen too much, and were too afraid to touch the smoking corpse. But
but not her father, who at this moment stumbled in, not knowing how she died, falling at her side. He threw his arms around her, kissing her and crying, "My poor sweet angel! What god has destroyed you in this hideous way? Who has robbed me of my only child? And I, so close to death. Let me die beside my daughter!" And so he lay there until his tears had stilled at last. But as he tried to struggle to his feet, he found he was stuck fast to the glittering gown, like ivy clings to a laurel branch. And thus a ghastly wrestling match began. As he tried to get up on one knee, his dead daughter in her dress would drag him down. As he used his little strength to free himself, each tug tore the old flesh from his bones. Finally, he gave up, sank back, and breathed his last. So now they lay there, side by side, in death. Father, daughter, a sight that would make the world weep. What happens to you, Medea? I cannot say. You will learn soon enough your punishment.
This day, the gods have turned their eyes to Jason, sending him calamity and justice in equal measure.
And so, friends, now my course is clear. I must kill the children quickly and be gone. Any delay delivers them to murder by some other blade. They must die too. In any case, and as they must, it is I who gave them life, must kill them. Let my heart be armored against this awful but necessary act. Let my luckless hand take up the knife and walk towards the edge.
Let there be no weakness now!
No tender memories of their birth, of them as babies.
Forget them now and weep for them after!
Even if they are killed, they were once loved.
Unlike me, unlucky woman that I am.
She stepped off a cliff edge with her boys.
She killed them and herself.
But Medea is not mad, and Medea survives. What more horror can there be?
Sex leads to death, inexorably, and grief is in the very seed of life.
You, women standing there, is she inside? That vile bitch! Or has she fled? She'll have to hide herself under the earth, or find wings to fly to heights beyond it, to escape my terrible vengeance and the royal steel of Corinth. She has killed the king. She has killed my bride, the princess. Now she herself must die. But it's the boys I've come for. I'm here to save the lives of my sons. With so much murder in the air, I fear that Creon's family might seek revenge and get at that harpy through her children. Through them, my sweet boys.
Jason, you have no idea how bad it really is. Much worse than anything you have said.
What could be worse? Is Medea going to kill me too?
No, but she has killed your children. Both your sons are dead.
Dead. My sons? You would make me dead as well?
Your children are no more.
Where? Where did she kill them? In the house? Where? Let me see this double evil. My boys? And their killer. The woman I will kill. You abomination! Loathed by the gods, by me, and by all mankind, that you, a mother, could lift your sword to your little ones and leave me childless. After such sacrilege, how will you dare to face the sun and earth? You killed your little brother the day you stepped aboard the Argo. Now you kill my children too out of jealousy and spite. No Greek woman would have thought of doing such things. 10,000 curses would not dent your metal heart. Child butcher. She-witch! Leave me to mourn my newfound bride. The sons that I will never hold alive again. All is lost.
If you thought you could dishonor my fate, then spend the rest of your days laughing about it! You were wrong, pretty princess. And Creon was wrong too, if he thought he could just brush me away into exile. Call me what you want. Your sons are dead!
How does that feel?
I know that I have reached your heart, split you open, and split you open with this!
And split yourself! You feel no pain?
Your pain is a comfort to mine. You will never mock me now!
My children, you had evil as a mother.
Children, your father's treachery brought this on you.
I did not kill my sons!
No! It was your lust and the insult of your new marriage.
You think it is right to murder your children over marriage?
You think such an insult true to a woman? I am so sick of your pathetic voice.
And I am heart sick of yours. I would never hear it again.
As you wish. What are your last words to me?
Allow me, my dear children, to bury them in peace and mourn them.
No. I will bury them myself. These hands will take them to the temple of Hera, where no enemy will violate their graves. And then I'll go to Athens to live with King Aegeus. But you, as is fitting, will be shown a coward's death. You'll be killed by a piece of rotting timber falling from the wreck of your blessed Argo. A bitter end to your bitter life with me.
Then I call on the fury of vengeance and the agents of justice to cut you down.
What god or higher power would listen to an oathbreaker and liar?
Filth, child murderer!
Go back and bury your bride.
My children, dear sons.
Dear to the mother, not to you.
So dear you killed them.
That you might die of grief.
My children, dear sons.
Your grief is just beginning. Wait until you're old.
I came here a father, and I go home childless. My children, dear sons. Let me just touch them once more, hold them in my arms and kiss them one last time.
You rejected them, sent them into exile, and now you want their kisses?
One last time.
No. You waste your breath.
Zeus! Do you hear? She denies me even this. Mocked, rejected, driven away by a beast fouled with the blood of children. Oh gods! I wish I'd never bred these boys. Or live to see them dead. Or seen you ever. And never climbed into your lethal bed.
From today, I know that truly hope is dead. I ask you again, you who watch, how could there ever be any ending but this? Silence. The darkness.